Hi, good people. I'm just going home and I have to go to the gym. Does anybody realise what's going on in our country? Like, do we know? Like, there are now people who are out in the streets. They're not protesting. They're calling for violence against a politician at a political party that they don't agree with. And they think that the people that they wish to persecute, they think they're the fascists. That level of insanity is unbelievable. And yet there are people within our political system who openly support these people. In the education system, in the tertiary education system. It wasn't long ago that 15 Australian citizens were massacred by an evil ideology. And it's very interesting. Something is very interesting that from no problem, sweetheart. Okay, just a little high school girl. Yeah, maybe high school was across the street, but anyway, lots of cars at the moment. Anyway, but we We then, after this massacre, this act of terrorism by our Prime Minister, instead of being tough, like saying, you do this against our Australian citizens, we'll come after you with everything we've got. He goes to the heartbeat of the radicalisation of Lakemba Mosque. And says diversity is our strength and we love you. And they turn on him right there in the mosque. And after all of this, there's another over 100 million spent on pro-Islamic programs, projects, non-for-profits. I'll tell you what, I mean, why don't you just leave the door of the country open, let anybody in, Labor Party? Does it make any sense to anybody, all of this? Do you know, I haven't heard any Christians say Jesus is great and then attack him. I haven't heard any Hindu in the Sikhs say Guru Nanak is great and attack people. I haven't seen that, and you know, yes, we have recently seen attacks in you know, in you know, the in the UK by some crazy guy, and Sikhs want to carry their Was it Kirpan everywhere? Well, no, you can't do that. It's against the law. And Sikhism, when you read into it, you must abide by the laws of the nation you are in. If you can't carry a knife around, then to be a true Sikh, you have to respect the law and not carry your knife around. Sorry, read it. It's not only that. Also, a Saudi, a friend of mine who I met 25 years ago on the Gold Coast, in Brisbane, sorry. He told me that they have to. Under his religion, he must comply with all laws of the nation he is in. Therefore, they can't practice Sharia in Australia. They cannot. They can't demand to be allowed to do anything related to Sharia. Nothing. Not one part of it. He said that's what I would believe as a Saudi, and as somebody in Saudi Arabia from a very well-to-do family with a lot of ties to Islam and to the institution of Islam in Saudi Arabia. He told me, 25 years ago in April of 2001, he said, he went to Arundel Mosque and he said, in Gold Coast, he said, I'm never going back there. You have no idea what these people are preaching. And they couldn't do that in Saudi Arabia. They would be in jail. And you allow it. This is not good. And then 5 months later, September 11th. But it's very confusing that we're constantly being fed diversity is a strength, and yet there's a lot of but the people who the government want in the country for the diversity agenda hate us and want to, not all of them, but some of them want to kill us. Now the moderates of this same ideology will just go along with it. They want to survive. We don't live in a safe country because our government is making it unsafe every day. Melbourne is now a quasi war zone. It's becoming a little Mogadishu. While at the same time Mogadishu is experiencing an era of relative peace. It's a confusing shit show we've got going on in Australia. It seems like, number one, we have a national debt. 20 years ago, 20.45 million people. Now, 28 million people. 20 years ago, we had no debt. Now, all debt equals 2 trillion. Not 1 trillion, it's now 2 trillion if you include all government debt. Now, 20 years ago, our services were running pretty smoothly. Our hospitals were faster. Our roads were not congested all the time. There were traffic jams, but it wasn't like now. Now, you go to any public service, it is congested. It is grinding. And the traffic jam, my God. I mean, I'm out here on the Gold Coast. At least I'm in the traffic every day. It doesn't really matter what time. Homelessness on the increase. The debt still goes up as well. And I'm just always left thinking, Labor, Liberal, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm so sick of them both. They're both as bad as each other. I always say the Liberal Party is just the Labor Party's cuckold, because the Labor Party will go full hog, Liberals will try to play intelligent and smart, but it can't happen because they're dealing with bullies like the Labor Party that will institutionalise the radical left-wing lunacy into their party through the Greens. But I'll tell you what, I've been back here for almost a year. 9 months. I can't stay here for much longer. I feel really like something's really wrong here. It's really bad. This got more bad news that the app I can't use. The app that I wanted to use, I can't use now. I've been hit with a lot of things in the last for a while, and I just think things are getting worse. It's really bad. No one seems to be concerned either. Not too sure which way to go with anything at the moment in this nation. I mean, I just don't know what is going on. And it seems to be, I think that our government, in particular the Labor Party, the Greens and their affiliates, have decided that their mantra is anything but Australians. And if we have to create tribal warfare in this country, which is starting to happen, we're going to do it because we're untouchable. And just to remember something as well, diversity is never a strength. If you have a look at Australia, Chinese people marry Chinese people, Vietnamese people marry Vietnamese, Hindus marry Hindus, Sikhs marry Sikhs, Arabs only ever marry other Arabs. We don't have any, there's no such thing as diversity with the non-Europeans. It just doesn't really exist. There are some outliers, but it's not a regular occurrence. Lebanese are the same. They might have been here for 50 years, but trust me, they don't integrate well. And we're not allowed to say that because we're called racist. But none of these radical left-wing lunatics expect Saudi Arabia to become diverse and allow interfaith marriages or the Jews in. No. Why is that? The greatest colonizers of all time, the Middle East. No, they get to say it's because for too long we've lived in a very peaceful civil society based on Judeo-Christian values. And people think this is what the rest of the world is like. You know, somebody in Austrade was just saying how they're doing a fantastic job at Austrade in Bangkok, and yet we still can't own property in Thailand. Thais can own property here. We cannot set up a business easily in Thailand. Thais can open one pretty easily here. There are still a lot of complications with doing business in Thailand. Thais come over here, do business, there's no problem. And I told him, Why don't you do these things instead of your photo opportunities? And you blew $180,000 at the one at like 3 different I forget the name of them now. The big wholesale supermarkets. I used to go to it once a week at least. You blew $180,000. No one gave a shit you were there, and you then have the fucking nerve to say you accomplished something. Exposure. Fuck. You know what? Australian businesses can't survive off exposure. They can't make money off exposure. We're being ran into the ground by people that don't give a fuck. And can you even trust the Liberals? No, I can't. You allowed this to happen. You did not go after Labor with full hog. You negotiated. You cannot negotiate with pure evil. You just have to say to it, no, not today, Satan. I don't know what's going to happen to my country, but I know that anybody who lived in the 80s and 90s in Australia knows exactly what I'm talking about. We had it really good. Our culture, our civilization was so good. Now I feel the people that we trusted with the economic and social prosperity for all Australians, the people we trusted with that responsibility, don't even give a shit we exist. And yet, they take our money for their own personal benefit. Something is really off in this country. And I don't know what we can do about it. We just have to vote. Everybody, if you want to have any chance, I do believe, and it's not the best option, but I believe that the only option is everybody votes One Nation. They're not perfect. They don't have the best policies. They've got a Sikh candidate running at the moment. I don't want him because I know that he will only marry his own. He will only employ his own. He'll only sponsor his own to the country. That's how they are. We shouldn't have them running. But other than that, but at least he likes living in Australia. Can't say the same about that Marine Faruqi. Can't say the same about that Payman. They run away from Pakistan and Afghanistan, come here and they complain. Got to get rid of them. Can't have them. One Nation across the board, not perfect, but at least they may not drive our country further into tribal warfare. Okay, good people. Stay safe. Stay peaceful. Remember, this country, Jesus is king. And that will never change.